Riot Games. They're raising the RP and TFT coin prices by around 10 to 20% depending on where you are from. Is this from Riot's greed? Is this from inflation? Where do we even begin? RP is the in-game currency in League of Legends and Teamfight Tactics. It can be used to unlock new characters or obtain exclusive in-game cosmetics. Despite the price increases, I do have some good news. Riot is allowing us to double the bonus RP and bonus TFT coins on all purchases from July 14th to the 31st. Furthermore, you guys can use my link and support me as I may receive a commission from purchases using the affiliate link shop.riotgames.com/c/BunnyMuffins. I'll leave the link in a pinned comment and in the description below. Right now, I have a bunch of Star Guardian skins in the store. Hopefully, they'll let me add other things to it later. However, I cannot stress this enough. Only buy RP or coins if you had planned to do so anyways. People who know me more intimately know that I am a huge advocate of personal financial responsibility, and making unplanned purchases is a big no-no in my book. With that being said, let's look at why Riot is raising their prices and see if we are going to refer to them as Riot Games or Riot Greed. So looking on their website, they cite inflation and currency fluctuations as the main reasoning for the price increases. Let's take a look at inflation. So personally, a few years ago, people started receiving stimulus checks. Even though inflation has been happening my entire life, this was like the first time people were actually actively talking about it in day-to-day conversations, at least in recent times. In 2021, people were then talking about supply shortages. They also were saying that inflation was transitory. In 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine, causing gas and food prices to rise because of Europe's dependence on Russian natural gas, and Ukraine's food production was compromised, causing rising food and energy costs across the globe. Now, what does rising food and energy costs have to do with in-game cosmetics? Some say that inflation is caused by corporate greed. The logic is that companies control prices, therefore when they raise them, they are causing inflation themselves. But let's take a look at what goes into a price. I'd have to say if I ran a company that sold keyboards, for example, for $10, and all my competitors raised their prices from $10 to $11 for no reason, I would stand to think that I would actually keep my prices the same at $10. And if you were a buyer of keyboards, would you buy the $10 keyboard or the $11 keyboard, assuming that they are pretty comparable? I'd have a feeling that I would take all the customers from my competitors, thus expanding my business by simply keeping my prices the same. All my greedy competitors would actually make less money because no one would buy an $11 product when I'm selling a comparable one at $10. Therefore, I do not agree with the corporate greed logic in this instance, where companies would just raise their prices for no particular reason. There's always a reason behind every action. Companies often raise their prices because either demand is higher or supply is lower, assuming that we are in a free market economy. Now, looking at RP and TFT coins, since digital goods have essentially an unlimited supply, how does that affect things there? After all, RP is just a number on a screen. Well, Riot hires plenty of designers and developers and many other people doing general business functions, and those workers have to deal with inflation. Everyone in the world has to deal with it. Everyone's paying more for food. Literally, I walk down the street to the halal truck that I always go to, and their prices went from $8 to $9 just a couple months ago. I'd assume in Santa Monica, where most of Riot's employees are, prices have increased in similar amounts for everyday goods. If rival companies offer salaries that go up with inflation, Riot would likely have to match those increases or risk losing their employees due to having lower wages than their competitors. I have no idea if Riot actually increased the employee salaries to match inflation, but let's assume that they did. This would cause the price of each champion, each skin, each cosmetic to go up. To offset this, they would need to increase their prices. This is as short a summary as I can make for why inflation affects every product on the globe, even if it is not directly related to it, such as with an in-game digital currency. So now I know what you guys are thinking. BunnyMuffins is clearly a bootlicker. He's also only saying these things because he has this affiliate code now. So what I actually love about TFT is that it is completely free. You do not have to pay a single penny to get a fair chance in the game. You cannot say this about so many video games on the planet. A lot of people think League of Legends is not pay to win, but actually there is a pay to win component to it. It's not free. First off, you have to grind out to level 30 before you even start playing ranked, and then after that you need to buy 20 champions before you can actually play ranked. Now you might be thinking, oh, you can buy all the cheap champions, right? But if you own more champions, you could trade with people in your lobby and thus get an advantage over all your competitors, because trading within a game lobby does give you an advantage. And all of these advantages can be gained by either grinding it out or paying money. However, in TFT, you do not get any advantage from spending money or from grinding. In fact, in Set 1, there are some maps that were considered pay to win, because back then, the first person to die in a round got a lower placement, which meant you would want to run away from the enemy's little legend in order to delay taking damage. Some maps were larger than others, so you would theoretically have a few split seconds more of avoiding damage compared to the default map. This would give a very minuscule advantage to people who bought those particular maps. These pay-to-win maps were promptly made obsolete because the damage calculations were changed to the one where we have today, where the person who has the lowest life total in a round where multiple people died would get the lower placement. TFT is literally a free game. You do not have to spend anything at all. In fact, a lot of Smurf accounts hit rank 1 and they use the default little legend, which means that literally anyone can become the best player on a server without paying any money. Now, let's look at some other complaints recently. So, did Riot's cosmetic quality get worse over time? Do premium or legendary skins have less features than they had before? I've not looked too deeply into that because I'm not too much into skins. If I like a skin, I buy it. If I don't like it, I don't. I'm not really counting whether they have the back animation compared to previous skins of a certain price range. But that brings me to my next point, which is no one's ever forcing anyone to buy anything in the game. If you don't like something, simply just don't buy it. A lot of people hate marketing tricks, and you may have noticed that they are changing their prices to include a 99-cent model instead of just rounding up to the nearest dollar. A lot of people consider that a marketing trick, but whenever you go buy anything, everyone's already using that same pricing model. So I really don't think that this makes Riot an evil company. Going back to the point where we were never actually forced to buy anything, it's like when you walk into a supermarket where they do have those pricings, by the way, with the 0.99 or 0.95. I don't walk into a supermarket and buy every item just because it exists in the store. I only buy the things I want and then I get out. This is why when you use my affiliate link, I hope you only use it because you already planned on getting some of the Star Guardian skins in my shop. We could spend all day talking about buying philosophies, marketing gimmicks, and also about actual pay-to-win games such as Diablo Immortal, but then we'd be sitting here for hours and hours. So I heard a rumor that Blizzard actually hired casino consultants to design their game in order to maximize profits. But I guess comparing any company to Blizzard in 2022 is not really a fair comparison. Needless to say, when it comes to personal finance, I'm pretty against consumerism on a personal level. At the same time, I am a big believer of the free market economy because I feel that people should be able to make their own decisions and exercise their free will throughout their life. If you like something, go ahead and go get it. If not, just skip it. To close out this video, let me know down in the comments if you think Riot increased their prices due to greed or as a response to inflation. Will they make more money after this? I guess only time will tell. If you enjoyed this video, check out the video where I open eggs until I get the Firecracker Jinx chibi, because I give my thoughts on the egg loot system in that video as well.